On number 4, we're going to kind of talk about as far as how much they cost. So number 4, we would say more expensive to build, but a carport would be less expensive to build. And then number 5, I need to move a little bit more down page. Number 5, talk about kind of what tends to be in there. Bugs and rodents get in, but quality place for pets to sleep during terrible weather. Okay? Same topic, but how does this pertain to a carport? Not as many bugs and rodents live there. Still offers some protection for pets. Okay, now you're going to go through and you are going to highlight this. And this is where you're going to kind of choose what you're going to do. You will use all 5 colors in this case. Go ahead and highlight number 4 as pink. That's a good one to use with your 3 pink sentences in some way, fitting those in there. And now you need to choose which one you want to be blue. So it will be blue on both sides. But why don't you go ahead, you can pick the exact order, but let's say if you did number 1 up here blue, then you'll do blue on this side. But this is what you will discuss in your first paragraph, and this is what you will discuss in your second paragraph. So you're not going to have these in the same paragraph, one right after the other, but they will go in the same order. So once you have your first pink sentence for the garage, then you would touch on this because you highlighted it blue. You would touch on this second. In the second paragraph, you'll have your comment about garage and carports, and then a specific one about carports, and then you will follow up with talking all about carports. So this will be the first thing you will address in your second paragraph. Then let's go ahead, just for the sake of kind of shaking it up just a little bit. Let's highlight number 3, yellow, on this side, and number 3, yellow on this side. Then let's do 2 as blue, or sorry, green. Then 2 is green here, and that will leave number 5. Go ahead and highlight that orange. So once you've done that, go ahead and turn to 2 pages to the outline. Whoop. Compare and contrast cluster outlines. So you want to highlight it like this, and then you also want to fill in the blanks. So this is one of the important parts, are the words that you are filling in here. So also note, both topics must be mentioned. So if I were you, I would go ahead and kind of circle that, and an overall opinion which will follow it, and then you'll have a first item comment. This is because this whole first paragraph in the blue, yellow, green, and orange is only about your first topic, which is garages. Although you are not doing that on your homework, this is just an example. Then you have your first support, second support, third support, and fourth support. So all of this is covering the topic of garages, except both topics are mentioned in the first sentence. Okay, don't forget your transitions, which are purple. Now, here's the split. Here's the beginning of the second paragraph again. Both topics need to be mentioned in that first sentence. And a continuing opinion. And a second item comment. So this is where you would comment about carports. And then you would have your first support, second support, third support, and fourth support. Since your second paragraph is all about carports, all of this stuff would be just about carports. And then down here, you're going to restate, again, both topics with a conclusion of your comparison. So all of those elements, super important. If you're missing either of these, it's basically going to be 10 or 5 points off each. So don't do that. Okay, so your outline might look something like this, except you're not going to do carports and garages on your homework. But we have both topics, garage and carport, comment about them, functional, and then we have a specific comment about garages in particular, because that's what this whole blue, yellow, green, and orange is about. So A, B, C, and D is all about garages, and you want to have your 2's filled in as well. So A, 1, and 2, B, 1, 2, C, 1, 2, D, 1, 2. And then you begin your second paragraph. So you only have 3 pink sentences. Now, discussing both advantages, but garages cost more. And here we have our comment about the key thing in the second paragraph. So all of this, addressing the same topics in the same order, but only as they pertain to carports. So, kind of go through that. Notice there's a 1, 2, 3 under C. That's not required. You are only required to have a 1 and a 2. But you're welcome to go on further if you have more stuff that you would like to say. And then we have both topics mentioned again. Carport or garage, depends where someone lives, which best. So your outline does not have to have complete sentences. Okay? So that's how it's going to look for you, as far as your homework will look something like that, but pulling information from the assignments. Here's the example of what yours should look like. However, yours will have colors where I just have it underlined or bold or italicized. Some homes have both a garage and a carport, while some have either one or the other. Technically, this information is still supposed to be in this first pink sentence. I really don't want you breaking it off from there right now. Traditionally, the garage has been used to park vehicles in to guard them from weather conditions. Since garages are closed in on all sides, a car is like a baby kangaroo in its mother's pouch, protected. This can feel stuffy, though, because most people use their garages for storing equipment with limited airflow. A stale odor prevails. Okay, so all of this, you'll notice, is just about garages, except carports were mentioned in that first sentence. Some acquire so many tools and other items the car will not fit, so they use the area for storage only. Organization can help maintain order among the clutter so the area does not become quite as stinky as a football field locker room. If the chaos increases, the number of pesky varmints investigating, getting into things, and making a larger mess also grows. Outdoor pets, however, can use a garage, messy or not, for shelter in uncomfortable weather. All right? Next peak sentence and the beginning of the second paragraph. Although garages are useful, notice garage, that's your transition. They are more expensive to build, while carports are cheaper, using half walls or limiting the number of walls with strong posts holding up the roof. Carports, like garages, can be used for parking vehicles to protect them from inclement weather. As a mother hen protects her baby chicks by covering and shielding them, a carport offers some shelter. Open to the elements on at least 3 sides, a carport is like a bird's nest. It lets in the breeze. Airflow becomes an advantage, especially in a milder climate, because unrestricted air flows through, which limits odors and keeps the area from becoming too hot. The challenge is freezing weather also blows through. Without wall space or an attached storeroom, protection is extremely limited for outdoor equipment and tools. Clutter, however, is restricted as well. Pests are uninterested because of limited junk, while outdoor pets still find some protection from extreme weather conditions. Whether a family chooses a carport or garage is primarily determined by the climate and personal needs. Okay, so that's just the example. Remember, 2 similes, 2 clauses, 3 quality adjectives, and 1 ly adverb, which is supposed to be highlighted as according to your checklist. So go ahead and turn to your poetry page now.